What if style didn't fade with age, but grew bolder, richer, and more meaningful? For so many women, turning 70 doesn't mean letting go of fashion. It means stepping into it more fully. After decades of dressing for jobs, children, occasions, and expectations, they finally have the freedom to dress for themselves. And that's where true style begins, when it reflects who you are, not who you're told to be. At this stage in life, clothing isn't just about looking good. It's about feeling whole. A soft scarf can carry the comfort of a memory. A bright jacket can remind you that joy is still allowed. A favorite pair of earrings can make an ordinary day feel special. Style after 70 is deeply personal. It's not about showing off. It's about showing up. And that's exactly what makes women like Ruby, Eleanor, and Janice so captivating. They don't follow trends. They don't ask permission. They wear what lights them up, what flatters their bodies as they are now, what speaks to their stories, their strength, their joy. Of course, aging comes with its challenges. Bodies change, malls become exhausting. And the fashion industry often forgets that older women exist, let alone deserve to feel stunning. But these three women refuse to disappear quietly. They've chosen instead to stand out, with elegance, with playfulness, with pride. Each of them has her own way of expressing beauty. Ruby finds magic in color, using vibrant tones to lift her mood and those around her. Eleanor leans into grace with timeless pieces that whisper sophistication. And Janice embraces simplicity, using texture and structure to create calm, confident silhouettes. Their styles may be different, but they all share one thing in common. They've learned to dress not for who they used to be, but for who they've become. That shift, from insecurity to self-celebration, is where the true fashion secret lies. So whether you're here because you've lost touch with your style, or because you're simply curious how women over 70 still manage to look so effortlessly stunning, this video is for you. It's a gentle reminder that it's never too late to rediscover what makes you feel beautiful. And if you're ready to be inspired by women who don't let age define them, but instead let it refine them, then you're in for something truly special. Let's begin with Ruby, a 74-year-old whose style philosophy is as bold and brilliant as the colors she wears. Her wardrobe is a celebration of life itself, and after hearing her story, you might just look at your own closet a little differently. Ruby, 74. Dressing in color, living with joy. Ruby doesn't believe in age-appropriate fashion. She believes in soul-appropriate fashion. At 74, Ruby walks through life as if every sidewalk is a runway. But she's not dressing to impress. She's dressing to express. Her outfits aren't just beautiful. They're declarations. They speak before she does. They smile before she even enters the room. And they always carry one message: joy is ageless. She wasn't always this fearless. Ruby spent most of her early life playing by the rules. She wore what she thought was expected of a mother, a teacher, a wife. Her closet was full of neutral tones: navy, beige, gray, comfortable, conservative, forgettable. But deep down, she always longed for something more vivid. I used to admire women who wore color, she says, adjusting her bold turquoise necklace. I thought, maybe someday I'll be brave enough, but someday took far too long. The turning point came shortly after she turned 68. She had just retired, her children had moved away, and her husband had passed a few years earlier. Ruby was alone in her house one evening, staring at a row of bland blouses, when something inside her simply said, enough. I realized I didn't recognize myself anymore. Not in the mirror and not in my clothes, she recalls. And I thought, if not now, when? That week, she bought her first red coat. Not burgundy, not wine, red. Bright, bold, unapologetic red. She wore it to the grocery store the next day and got 3 compliments before she even reached the produce aisle. That coat changed everything, she says. It gave me permission, not from the world, from myself. From that moment forward, Ruby made a vow. Never again would she dress to disappear. Her wardrobe slowly transformed. Soft grays were replaced by sunflower yellow and cobalt blue. Her once practical shoes made way for pink suede loafers and silver heels. Accessories went from dainty to dramatic. Layered beads, oversized pins, bangles that jingled like laughter. Ruby doesn't follow trends. She follows feeling. If it makes me feel alive, I wear it, she smiles. And her joy is infectious. Neighbors greet her like an old friend. Strangers ask where she finds her earrings. Teenagers compliment her bright scarves, but the best moments, she says, are when other older women pull her aside and whisper, "You make me want to try color again." Ruby always encourages them. Start with a scarf or a lipstick. You don't need to change your whole closet. Just find one piece that makes you light up inside. She believes that fashion after 70 shouldn't be about hiding. It should be about honoring. Honoring who you've become. Honoring the lines on your face, the wisdom in your eyes, the resilience in your step, and honoring your right to still feel beautiful. To Ruby, style isn't about age, it's about energy. It's not how old you are. It's how alive you feel, she says. Her favorite outfit? A flowing emerald green dress, paired with an orange leather clutch and a hand-painted silk scarf she picked up during a trip to Santa Fe. She wears it to art galleries, to lunches with friends, and even on solo walks through the park. Every time I wear that dress, something good happens, she says. Maybe not something big, but something good. A smile, a compliment, a memory. But Ruby's style isn't just visual, it's emotional. She uses fashion to elevate her mood, to spark conversation, to reconnect with joy. On days when she feels low, she chooses the brightest shade in her closet. On days when she misses her late husband, she wears the silk blouse he once gifted her. And on birthdays, she always wears gold. Because, as she says, life itself is worth celebrating. One of her favorite rituals is getting dressed slowly, with music playing and a cup of tea nearby. She calls it her morning meditation. I don't rush anymore, she says. Choosing what to wear is like choosing how I want to feel that day. It's sacred. Ruby's confidence didn't come overnight. It was built year by year, choice by choice. She's lived through illness. She's grieved deeply. She's reinvented herself more times than she can count. But through it all, she's learned that showing up as yourself, fully, brightly, joyfully, is the boldest statement of all, and perhaps the most beautiful part. Ruby's style isn't expensive. I don't shop at fancy stores, she says. Most of my favorite pieces are from thrift shops, estate sales, or swaps with friends. I believe in second chances, and that includes clothes. For her, fashion isn't about luxury. It's about imagination, creativity, curiosity. She loves mixing eras, patterns, textures, a 1970s blouse with a modern jacket, a silk kimono over wide-leg jeans. She once wore a sequined top to a casual brunch just because it felt like a sparkle day. She breaks rules and bends expectations, not to make a statement, but because she's simply done with limits. If someone says, "You're too old for that," I take it as a dare, she laughs. Ruby doesn't care if people think she's eccentric. She cares that she feels alive. She often says she doesn't dress for compliments, but she always welcomes connection. Her style opens doors, starts conversations, builds bridges between generations. Fashion for Ruby is a language of joy, and joy is meant to be shared. Her advice to other women over 60? Stop asking what's appropriate. Start asking what's authentic. Don't shrink. Don't apologize. Don't wait for permission. Wear the dress. Wear the earrings. Wear the color you've been told to avoid. Life is too short for beige. Ruby is living proof that style doesn't end at 60. It deepens. It expands. It becomes a celebration. And she's not just dressing to celebrate herself. She's dressing to celebrate life. Her final words. The world may try to forget women like us, but that doesn't mean we have to disappear. I dress in color because I refuse to fade. And with that, she turns, her floral kimono flowing like a watercolor in motion. Now, from bold color to quiet elegance, let's meet Eleanor, a woman who doesn't need sparkle to shine. Her secret? Grace that whispers louder than any trend. Eleanor, 76. The quiet power of timeless elegance. When Eleanor enters a room, she doesn't need bold color or dramatic flair to make an impression. Her presence speaks for itself, steady, refined, and deeply rooted in confidence. At 76, Eleanor's style isn't about drawing eyes. It's about drawing respect. She's the kind of woman who makes a simple blouse and trousers look like poetry, a string of pearls, a pair of polished flats, a coat that moves softly when she walks. Nothing screams, but everything whispers. I've always believed that how you present yourself is a kind of conversation, she says, and I like mine to be calm, thoughtful, and kind. Where Ruby dresses like a celebration, Eleanor dresses like a memory, carefully chosen, deeply meaningful, and timeless. Her wardrobe isn't packed. It's curated. She doesn't own 30 tops or 10 handbags. She owns what she loves, what lasts, and what feels true to her. Her mornings are unhurried. She brews loose-leaf tea, turns on Chopin, and lays out her outfit with care. I don't see getting dressed as a task, she says. It's a quiet ritual, a way to show myself a little respect before I greet the day. Her closet is like a personal archive, silks from her travels, coats from special occasions, shoes she's had resold rather than replaced. I like things that age with me, she smiles. They get softer, more interesting. One of her most treasured items is a long wool coat she bought over 30 years ago. Navy blue with hand-stitched lapels lined in a pearl gray satin that's now slightly faded. I wore it to my husband's retirement dinner. And again at his funeral. It's been with me in joy and in grief. To Eleanor, clothes are not disposable. They're part of your history. She remembers the dress she wore to her daughter's graduation, the shoes from her first trip to Paris, the scarf that always makes her feel like her mother is nearby. That's what makes style powerful, she says. It connects you to your life. She's not interested in trends. She doesn't flip through fashion magazines or follow influencers. She finds her inspiration in the women she's admired all her life. Audrey Hepburn, Georgia O'Keeffe, her grandmother. Women who had a presence that didn't need embellishment. Her look is best described as quiet luxury, natural fibers, muted tones, silhouettes that fall just right. A long wool skirt, a cashmere turtleneck, a simple, beautifully made handbag. She's careful about what she buys, and even more careful about what she keeps. I'd rather wear one coat I love for 10 winters, she says, than 10 that I forget by spring. Even her accessories have purpose. A silver pin shaped like an open book, gifted by her former colleagues at the library. A watch passed down from her father. A silk scarf with delicate hand-painted leaves, worn only when she wants to feel especially connected to nature. Eleanor worked as a librarian for more than 40 years. Books taught her the power of subtlety, of detail, of the quiet strength found in well-chosen words. She brings that same sensibility to how she dresses. She doesn't layer on makeup. A bit of blush, soft lipstick, and that's it. I'm not here to hide age, she says. I'm here to live it well. She embraces her gray hair, worn in a soft bun or sometimes left loose around her shoulders. Her skin, lined with laughter and loss, carries stories she's proud to show. There's beauty in being real, she says. I don't want to rewind time. I want to wear it. Aging, to Eleanor, is not something to fear. It's something to refine. In fact, she believes that the older she gets, the better her sense of self becomes. There's something freeing about knowing what no longer matters. You stop dressing for approval and start dressing for peace. She's thoughtful when giving advice. Young women often come to her, overwhelmed by options, looking for clarity. They'll say, I don't know what my style is, Eleanor shares. And I tell them, it's not something you copy, it's something you return to. She suggests starting small. One quality piece that makes you feel grounded. A neutral that complements your skin. A jacket that hugs your shoulders just right. Your body will tell you what it wants, she says. You just have to listen. What does she avoid? Loud patterns? Flashy labels? Anything that feels like it's trying too hard. I don't want to wear clothes that speak louder than I do. Still, she has her playful moments. A red leather clutch tucked away for dinner outings. A floral blouse she wears in spring when the tulips bloom. Elegance doesn't have to be serious, she winks. It just has to be sincere. She believes style is a language, a soft one, but still full of meaning. The way you dress teaches people how to treat you, she says. It's not about vanity, it's about clarity. In her home, everything echoes her wardrobe. Calm colors, well-loved textures, soft lighting. Books stacked neatly by the fireplace. A wooden table she's polished for decades. A vase of fresh eucalyptus. I find beauty in what lasts, she says, not what flashes. Her daughters often borrow her coats and scarves. Her granddaughters ask to learn how to tie her favorite silk neckerchiefs. They don't want fast fashion, she smiles. They want things that mean something. To Eleanor, that's the legacy she hopes to leave. Not just elegant clothes, but the understanding that beauty doesn't have to be loud to be powerful. My goal is not to turn heads, she says. It's to walk with quiet certainty. And somehow that's exactly what she does. There's a serenity about her that lingers even after she leaves a room. A steadiness, a softness, a knowing. As she sips the last of her tea and folds her cardigan around her shoulders, she leaves us with this. The world is noisy enough. I want to be the part that feels like stillness. Now, from Eleanor's world of calm beauty, we step into something entirely different. Janice doesn't speak through color or nostalgia. She speaks through structure, simplicity, and the quiet rebellion of minimalism. Let's meet the woman whose style says more by showing less. Janice, 79, the strength of simplicity. Some women discover their style through color, others through texture. Janice found hers through subtraction. At 79, her style is the most pared down of the three women. No sparkle, no prints, no frills. But in that simplicity lies her quiet confidence, an unmistakable steadiness that draws people in without effort. I've spent most of my life doing too much, Janice says, seated at her kitchen table with a warm cup of black tea. Too much giving. Too much pleasing. Too much worrying. So now, at this stage of life, I want less. Less noise, less clutter, less of what doesn't feel like me. And that choice is reflected in everything she wears. Her wardrobe is a carefully edited collection of timeless essentials. Black trousers that fit perfectly at the waist. Button-down shirts in crisp white, soft blue, and pale gray. A few turtlenecks, 2 long coats, 3 scarves, and 1 little black dress. All made from natural fibers, all worn again and again with quiet pride. I know every piece in my closet like I know my friends, she says. And I trust them just as much. Janice wasn't always like this. For years, her closet was packed with clothes she never wore. Impulse buys, outdated pieces, things that didn't quite fit or didn't feel quite right. I used to buy things hoping they'd transform me, she admits. But they never did. They just filled space. The turning point came in her early 60s. She had just retired after nearly 4 decades working in education. Her children were grown and had moved across the country. Her husband, who'd passed away unexpectedly 2 years earlier, had left behind silence and sadness. One day I stood in front of my closet and felt nothing, she recalls. Nothing I owned matched the woman I was becoming, so she began removing. First the obvious, high heels she hadn't worn in 10 years, jackets from the 90s with shoulder pads, anything with sequins. Then came the harder choices. Dresses she'd once loved, but hadn't reached for in years. Gifts that carried memories but no longer sparked joy. Sale items that never really suited her. By the end of that week, more than half her wardrobe was gone, and in the space that remained, she felt something unexpected. Relief. That closet cleanse changed more than my style, she says. It changed how I moved through life. I stopped needing so much. I started trusting my instincts again. These days, Janice dresses the same way she lives, deliberately, honestly, without excess. Each morning she picks her outfit with care, but without stress. Her go-to look, charcoal slacks, a loose ivory blouse, and a long navy cardigan. Polished, clean, simple. I can get dressed in under 5 minutes and feel put together all day, she says. That's what simplicity gives you, ease. But simplicity doesn't mean boring. Janice adds interest through subtle detail. The drape of a neckline, the texture of a wool scarf, the way a shirt moves when she walks. Her style is less about what she wears and more about how she wears it, with quiet dignity and grace. She also believes in investing in quality. Fewer things, better made. She shops rarely, but when she does, she's thoughtful. She touches fabrics, checks stitching, tries things on twice before buying. If it's coming into my life, it better be worth the space, she says. Her favorite item? A tailored black wool coat she's worn every winter for nearly 20 years. It's been mended twice, dry cleaned faithfully, and lined with a soft satin she chose herself. It's not fashion, she smiles. It's friendship. Janice doesn't wear makeup, a touch of brow gel, sometimes clear lip balm. Her gray hair is cut short, neat, easy, elegant. Her hands, strong from years of gardening and writing, carry no rings but hold a quiet steadiness. I'm not interested in turning back time, she says. I just want to be fully present where I am. Aging to Janice is not something to resist, it's something to refine. She doesn't miss the woman she was at 40 or 50. She honors her, but she no longer needs her approval. That woman got me here, but I'm not dressing for her anymore. I'm dressing for now. Now means comfort. Now means confidence. Now means clothes that allow her to walk for an hour in the park, sit on the floor to play with her grandson, or attend a gallery opening without feeling like she's pretending to be someone else. I want to look like me, she says. Not a version of me trying to prove something. Her minimalist wardrobe also reflects a deeper life philosophy. Janice is a believer in slow living. She cooks from scratch, reads every day, writes letters by hand, and avoids social media. Her home is filled with warm wood, linen curtains, handmade ceramics. There's no clutter, just space, sunlight, and softness. When friends visit, they often leave feeling lighter. They always say it's so peaceful here, she says. I think peace is what we're really seeking in this stage of life. Janice's style has quietly inspired other women, neighbors, nieces, old colleagues. Not because she tells them what to wear, but because she shows them it's okay to let go. You don't have to chase trends, she says. You can chase truth instead. She encourages women over 60 to begin with what feels real. Open your closet, she says. Touch each piece. If it doesn't make you feel beautiful, useful, or comfortable, it's time to say goodbye. And that farewell isn't loss. It's clarity. You're not losing identity, she says. You're shedding costumes. You're coming home to yourself. She believes women are often told that style fades with age, but in her experience it sharpens. It becomes more honest, more efficient, more personal. We stop dressing for everyone else, she says, and start dressing for the woman we've worked so hard to become. As she folds a freshly washed blouse and places it gently on the shelf, Janice leaves us with this. Let your style say what you mean. Let it reflect how you move, how you feel, how you love your life. And with that, she reaches for her walking shoes, opens the door, and steps into the afternoon sunlight, unburdened, unhurried, and beautifully, completely herself. Now that we've heard from Ruby, Eleanor, and Janice, it's time to step back and reflect. Their styles are different. Their lives are different. But one truth runs through them all. Real beauty doesn't fade. It deepens. What 3 stylish women over 70 taught us about living beautifully. As we close this journey through the lives and styles of Ruby, Eleanor, and Janice, something becomes crystal clear. Beauty doesn't fade with time. It deepens. And style doesn't disappear. It becomes more honest, more personal, and more powerful than ever before. Each of these remarkable women showed us a unique truth. Ruby taught us that color can be a form of courage, that joy can be worn like jewelry, that every bright outfit is a reminder to celebrate. not just occasions, but life itself. She reminded us that visibility is not a luxury, it's a right, and that it's never too late to be bold, playful, and full of light. Eleanor showed us the grace of stillness. That elegance doesn't have to speak loudly to be heard. That softness, consistency, and careful attention can create a presence that lingers. She showed us that clothes can be stories, and that what we wear can hold meaning far beyond fashion. And Janice offered a quiet rebellion, a lesson in less. That simplicity isn't emptiness, but clarity. That letting go of the unnecessary, both in your wardrobe and in your life, can lead to the kind of freedom that no trend can offer. She reminded us that minimalism can be deeply feminine, deeply wise, and deeply beautiful. Together, these three women redefined what style after 70 can look like. Not because they tried to look younger, but because they finally stopped trying to be anything other than themselves. And that is where real style begins. So if you're watching this and wondering how to reconnect with your own beauty, start here. Start with one color you love, one outfit that feels like home, one small moment in the mirror where you say, "This is me, and I love who I see." Because you don't need a new wardrobe to rediscover your confidence. You just need to remember who you are, and this is only the beginning. In our next video, we'll explore how to build your own signature style, step by step, gently and joyfully. You'll learn how to shop with purpose, edit with love, and dress with meaning, so stay with us. Because the most stylish years of your life might just be the ones ahead.